U.S. presidential election works as: how is the U.S. president the leader, executive branch of the federal government, American state, and is often referred to as a person the most powerful in the world to rise. This position has been held by every American president, must win the competitions. Tension-filled election is considered a contest. The longest and most complicated election in the world. The U.S. presidential ceremony takes place every 4 years, equal to the length of one term of office of the president. The election process will consist of 2 phases. The political union stage elects candidates. Members of the parties are called primaries, Maria Legends, and the main pregnancy period. Presidential formula from among the candidates member called the general election Donelette stage. This is the process of the primary election. Candidates compete within the party with the purpose of becoming human, the only representative of the party in attendance. The election campaign period is extremely tense from January to June of the year. This election takes place once completed. The party's National Congress will launch an election partnership consisting of candidates. Presidential officer Mr. Tuan is the vice presidential candidate. The president must be an American citizen born 35 years old and permanently residing in the U.S. 14 years ago. The election of deputy candidates. The president must also be an American citizen born 35 years old, permanent resident in the U.S. 14 years before the election, and must be permanent in a committee section different from the candidates committee. The precedent is below the following general election paragraph. When you to choose Rivers Representative Party as its presidential candidate, the Schatz candidate election will continue to move on. Words to move voters and electors vote for I was president during the campaign. The election is a decisive stage in the election. This is the presidential election process. Time of candidates of major parties are 2 opposing Democratic-Republican parties. They have to spend directly with each other, huge amount of money for the campaign. The 2 candidates will organize activities, propaganda, advertising to attract attention, support one of the important activities. Importance of the election campaign process is a live argument on television between 2 candidates with a large number of supporters. Highest household unite to help the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party eliminated its opponents from other parties have since then maintained their base. Bipartisan politics sends the United States back to its time. Election time is announced and scheduled. Presidential elections will take place every 4 years, times in even years, on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November. So now the earliest election of the year will be November 2nd, will be the latest date. November 8 and the setting of the voting date. This has not been interrupted since 1840. So far, according to that, the 2020 election is November 3rd special by law. American election people, or voters, will not directly vote on their ballots called the popular vote, which is only responsible. The service of electing voter representatives, also known as is the electors' briefing of the electorate. These voters are grouped together to form the electoral college of the state's electoral college of each department shall be equal. The total number of artists is endless and non-commissioned soldiers. Senator of that committee, who has the number highest popular vote in the contest, Gord who, and exceed 50% of the majority vote voters will elect President for America. There are 538 electors, therefore, to become president. A candidate needs to gain little at least 270 electoral votes. Choose which candidate wins. The popular vote wins the electoral vote. However, there are cases of candidacy elected member due to winning the popular vote, but lost the recent electoral votes. Most in the 2016 election, Democrat Hillary Clinton win more popular votes. River lost the electoral vote before the election member for Republican Androl and Silver. The newcomer must accept defeat. Before that, in the 2000 election. The same goes when Mr. Boone reaches 50,450,9211 popular votes versus 51,003,194 popular votes. Mr. Aqua's message, but the pen is still closed because he obtained 271 electoral votes while our only has 2. The number of losing votes is exactly 5 to save the infected person. Contrasting results between the results of spectrum fees with the results of the electoral votes. This election model battle meets some women like to represent the Russian President Putin. once commented that in America, you will must walk electors for them to choose. The president is still at the station. The president is elected following the model of universal suffrage. Therefore, elections in Russia are more democratic than in America.